Right. I am a huge Star Trek fan, so when I saw a game heavily based on Star Trek IP, but obviously modified enough to be hopefully copyright safe, I had to leap in and give it a go and show you guys. So I'm going to run the game. We're going to jump in and have a look at gameplay first, and then I think there's plenty to talk about once we're done with that. It is called We Can't Get a Lock on LaGeorge, and it is by Pacifist something, we'll see in a moment. It was a submission for the Go Wild Jam. The jam entries have ended, but it's still in its voting state for 6 more days from this time of recording. So yeah, if you're early enough, come and give this game a vote. If you like it, obviously. And on the page we have some play info, but I think there's quite a bit in the game, so that's fine. And a little bit talk about how it was a little bit rushed at the end because of the game jam time deadline, and that's a pretty common thing. And a few credits for where the information came from. So yeah, let's jump in and we'll have a look at some gameplay. And we can maximize it out. Turn down the music. We are recording successfully. Alright, so there's our control keys. There's our volume controls on the start menu. A very nice kind of tricorder screen. I like it a lot. There's the Enterprise. There's LaGeorge sitting and waiting for us. And there's the mysterious planet that we're on. Let's hit play and run through the intro. Captain's log, stardate 44273.9. It has been 36 hours since we lost contact with Chief Engineer LaGeorge, who was en route to the local pleasure planet for some well-earned shore leave. We've been notified, however, that he never arrived. We've traced his warp signature to the vicinity of an uncharted L-class planet in the Omicron Cetai system. With any luck, he managed to make an emergency landing there. Captain to LaGeorge. Come in, LaGeorge. This is LaGeorge. Good to hear your voice, Captain. Likewise, Chief. Are you all right? Hell of a headache, sir, but I'll be okay. Captain to transporter room. Have you got a lock? Damn. LaGeorge, there's too much gravimetric interference to beam you out of there. We can barely keep the comlink steady. What happened? Ionic storm, sir. Barely made it out, but with the engines were toast. Had to sit down first place I could find, scattered around a bit, and... Yes? I fell down a hole again, sir. Well done, Chief. Do you think you can make your way to the surface? Well, it's my visor, sir. What's wrong with it? This amused me. We can have different answers. We can have the very funny answer or the very kind of Star Trek-y answer. Let's go with the Star Trek-y answer. I think the frequency isoconfinement filter is trimetrically fractured, sir. Some lovely techno-babble. I see. Can you make out anything of your surroundings? If I remodulate the frequency with ZX, I should just about be able to make out the surfaces, radiation, and potential life signs. Be careful, LaGeorge. We have picked up dangerous levels of radiation near you from an unknown crystalline source. I'll keep an eye on my meter. Luckily, my phaser is still functional, sir. I can try to shoot the crystals with C. Good, but try and avoid engaging any indigenous life if you can help it, Chief. The Prime Directive clearly states... Captain? On my own again, huh? Well, I got out of Galondon Core. I can get out of here. Guess I better make a move. With the arrows. I can always check my tricorder with P if I need a reminder. Yes, so this is us. We are LaGeorge, who is obviously a reference to Geordi LaForge from The New Generation. We can bring up the tricorder with P, and that's basically our, sound controls and things like that. And now, the real charm of this game. This is our surfaces view. If we press X or Z, we can rotate around to the radiation view, and we can see the radiation sources. And if we continue to rotate, we can see the life signs view for any life sign sources, of which there are none. So we're looking at the surfaces, and now if we get too close to a radiation source, you can see our meter starts to go up, but if we get away, we're fine. So we can actually damage the radiation source by zapping it with our phaser, but we can also just charge right through it and not damage any of the local wildlife now that we've fallen down a hole in the ground. And again, we can switch to our life signs view, not see anything. We can switch to our radiation view, and we can see the radiation sources and align them up with, where we what we can see on our surfaces. And we also get something interesting. If we step forward here, we get a mysterious voice. You didn't think you really survived that fall without a little help, did you? We don't comment on that, but yeah. So I found that a very, very interesting element. I haven't played far enough to unpack it. But as you see, I do like being able to go through without being able to shoot anything, radiation sources or otherwise. We can charge past them fairly trivially, at least in this part of the game. So I didn't want to shoot anything, because I am a huge fan of the new generation, and I know that shooting things tended to be a very, very last resort. So I'm going to try and avoid using the phaser as much as possible. But yeah, you can shoot them with C like so, and if it hits a thing, it destroys it. Alright, so next level. Captain to LaGeorge. LaGeorge here, sir. Chief, we're picking up life signs in the direction you're heading, and our counselor feels they're angry. Try and avoid any altercation if you can. Again, we can have the funny answer, or what I think is the serious Star Trek answer. Aye, aye, sir. Good luck, Chief. Right, so if we switch to life signs, we can see the life sign is over there and patrolling backwards and forwards on this this platform over here. But we can also see that there is a route around it. But if we look at radiation, we can see a nasty radiation spike right there. So we're going to have to charge past it with some very good platforming because it damages us. And I have noticed that if either a life sign, contact, or radiation kills us, we get respawned at the beginning of the level, and we get a Saki comment from the mysterious voice. So we do have a mysterious benefactor that is, excuse me, helping us here. Right, so we are making it past the life sign, quite fine. And we are now in a new area. We have a living thing right below us down there. We have some radiation above and across us. So we are going to have to move quite quickly. And I'm just going to get through to the end of this level. And I'm going to stop there. I think that is enough gameplay, and I'm going to... Okay. I wonder if we jump down there. It doesn't actually move towards us at all. Right. Okay, so enough gameplay. Let us end there. So if you are just here for the gameplay, thank you for watching. There's a link in the description. I do recommend coming to play this. It is a fun and not terribly difficult, at least so far, little platformer with a really, really great context and setting. Some interesting 8-bit music and noises, which we are going to stop by reloading the screen. So yeah, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to get that engagement going with the various algorithms of YouTube for both you and me. Yeah, and that's it. So if you're going to be moving on, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. If, however, you are going to stay here for the critique, well, what are we going to talk about? There is a lot to talk about here, and I'm trying to rein myself in because Star Trek, I am a huge, huge fan. I have an older friend who was a kid watching TV when Battlestar Galactica, the original series, was on. And he was really mad the one day when Battlestar Galactica was finished, I suppose, and was removed from TV, and it was replaced by this new show, Star Trek. And he sat down with his arms crossed, very determined to hate the show that had replaced his beloved Battlestar Galactica. And he says that within 15 minutes he was absolutely entranced when Kirk was commanding that they fire all phasers and all torpedoes, and he absolutely loved it from then onwards. And when I was a kid watching TV, it was the new generation was on, and I watched the hell out of it whenever possible. It was by far my favorite show. I watched Picard and Wesley be an absolute Mary Sue and all of those kind of things. I loved the show. hugely. So yeah, there was no way I couldn't show this game when I found it. And I like it. I mean, as a hardcore Star Trek fan, it's a little parody. It's a little bit silly, but that's the nature of the tricky, I suppose, community. You love it, and you also make fun of it, and you also take it too seriously. I never got to go to any conventions. Otherwise, I would have been there with a badly homemade attempt at a Star Trek uniform, stumping around with all the other Trekkie nerds, and yeah, doing whatever the convention offered. I would have been there if it had been possible, but it wasn't for me, so I couldn't, and that sucks. But the gaming world came along, and I've had a lot of fun from that perspective when I've managed to dip my toe into tricky stuff, and this was a really good toe dipping. So let's stop rambling on about my sad little limited Trek exposure life, and instead let's talk about the game. The UI. The UI is fantastic. It's If I had to make a complaint about it, it's a little too pixelated. Just that's the nature of the graphics, and I mean, as a Trek fan, you want to see something more closer to real, and the pixelation sort of limits that a bit. But I mean, yeah, that's just a personal complaint. It's just that your game isn't visually good enough for me, and I'm going to be grumpy about it. Not really. It still looks absolutely fine. And just if I just want more of it. The sounds are all great. They're all a bit 8-bit. One of the first games I played way back in the day was this absolutely terrible attempt at being a Star Trek captain, and it was super limited, like 8-bit sounds and dodgy graphics. It was actually so bad I struggled to know what was going on. I couldn't actually recognize things like the bridge sounds because it sounded like an 8-bit rendition of a jungle. I don't know, it was odd. So I mean, this game is a lot better, but this game does trigger the memories of that old terrible game. I wish it had been as good as this game. Yeah, but I mean, we're talking more than 20 years ago. It was bad back then. So yeah, the sounds are great. The art, again, a little too pixelated for me, but still way sufficient to play a good game. So yeah, I have no complaints about the way it looks and about the way it sounds. And obviously there are the sound controls that I always am happy to see, and I was really happy to see them. And I think it's really clever to stick them into that tricorder view. I think that view could be cleaned up a little bit. Let's just hop in and have a look at it. Pacifist Efforts is the name of the devs. Let's turn the music off. Yeah, I mean, I know what you're doing here to try and put all the bits and pieces in, but it is a little cluttered. So I don't know. I don't know if there's anything you can do to rein that in a bit. I mean, this is all useful information. Maybe make it a bit bigger. You got to keep the right proportions and that kind of stuff. I don't know. It took me a while to figure out what the hell was going on here and even find the play button, because there's just too much going on and the brain just goes rah. But it looks good. Also, this looks like it's got a medical plus on the side of the Enterprise. Yeah, I can tell that's just the tip of the warp nacelle. But yeah, it looks really like this is the medical ship. I think because of the shade of the blue as well next to it. It's very odd. Anyway, lovely to see the Enterprise shape. We don't see it enough these days because it's not really a dominant series anymore, is it? I need to drag all these things out and actually go through a rewatch of them. Try and find the old episodes, start from the beginning. I did like the show a lot. All of them. Deep Space Nine was I think the peak of it for me. I really loved that series. It was great. But okay, let's talk about a parody. I think is really what we're having to primarily contemplate here. This is obviously a parody of Star Trek. Like the main character's name, we're riffing off Geordie LaForge. We have LaGeorge. He's a bit silly in this game because he keeps falling down holes and things like that. There is a joke there, and I think the joke is fine, but it's also a little bit potentially a bit annoying to some of the more hardcore fans. So while you might have attracted them in with Star Trek stuff, making it a little bit too funny might feel like you're mocking them and making fun of them. It might drive some players away. I don't know. It's a bit of an unthinking reaction, and I think some people might have that. So just be careful of that. Take it a little bit seriously, because there are people in the community who take it very seriously, a large chunk of it, and those are the people who will be attracted by a Star Trek game. So yeah, and I mean, if you're a player and you're coming to play the game, just don't take it too seriously. This is humor made with considerable affection. So yeah, laugh, don't get mad. That's all I can really say for it. I think this is a mechanically and functionally, this is a really, really good game. It's a very comfortable platformer. I love the three different views concept. I think that's very, very clever and a lot of fun. I love the Star Trek references. I love the humor. I approve wholeheartedly, and this is why I'm doing a video on it. And I encourage other people to come and play the game and approve as well. And I'm curious to see where the storyline goes, and there does seem to be a very fundamental storyline in there that's well presented. It's not really a tutorial per se, but the game does start you off in the right way and teach you how to play it. The controls are very obviously given to you, and everybody knows how to play a platform. I think even novice gamers will get that very, very quickly. So yeah, in terms of game design, great. If I have a complaint, a major critique, it's a little bit too retro pixel and a little bit too 8-bit. I would love it to have a slightly better resolution, slightly better graphics, slightly better music and things like that, but obviously that's just a personal preference. I think some people will absolutely adore the retroness of it and the level that it's at. So yeah, ignore my critiques there. I think the game is fantastic. So thank you for making it. Thank you for letting me view it, and well, I mean, I say letting me do a video, but I didn't ask. I've just done the video. So I hope you approve, and I hope to see more done to this game, and I hope to see you make more, I guess, Star Trek parody games and other games, and I will be keeping an eye on you. Also, quite a cool studio name. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.